What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Metacom Toys Mafex Stealth Jumper Batman from Batman Hush. And here we have Stealth Jumper Batman posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories. Batman does come with several sets of hands. We do get a pair of fists, a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of splayed open hands, a pair of hands for holding the batarang, a pair of hands for holding his cape, and then a pair of hands that have a batarang in every single knuckle. Then he does come with two different batarangs, which do look really nice. Other than that, Batman here doesn't come with anything else. We don't get an alternate head, no alternate chest piece. It's just this Batman as you see him. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at his details. And so here we have a closer look at Stealth Jumper Batman, and I have to say that with what Mafex had to work with, they did a really good job on this Batman. Now, there are some issues that this figure has that we will talk about, but as far as the look of this figure goes, he does look like he came right off the pages of Batman Hush, especially with this breathing apparatus that you can see attached to his chest. All these control panels look really nice. Now, as you would expect, these tubes actually do hinder Batman's head movement. He has little to no head movement, if we're being quite honest. These tubes, they're not the most pliable that we've seen, so yeah, those they don't, as you can see, they really don't allow too much play with the head, so that is a little bit unfortunate because he still has a standard ball joint here in the head. As far as the cowl goes, you can see it is a little bit different from the original Hush Batman, where we have some actual line work here, which does look nice. I do like it. His cape bundles up right here in the back, and it kind of gives him like this huge hunchback here. They again added a lot of cape to this figure, although it's more in the back than it is draped down, so yeah, that is an issue with this Batman. You can see it's quite big in the cape. If you were to actually lay this flat, it should be closer to his body, but we have a huge cape. As you can see, he's not really that hunchback. It's just the way that they designed this that it just makes him look hunchback. As far as the figure goes, I'm actually surprised at the detailing that Mafex went in on this figure. I originally thought they were just going to reissue the Batman Hush with a couple of add-ons here and call it a day, but no, they've actually sculpted a brand new figure, which I really do like. That you can see his suit actually does have a lot of nice texturing on it. The straps look really good. They did a fantastic job just overall making Batman look nice, and it is fantastic in terms of detail. I really do like the silvers and the reds, the yellows and greens that they went with on his breathing apparatus. Here on his control panels look really nice. Even here on these little tubes, they did a good job painting it. The straps on his arms are very well painted. They don't have any, if they do have any bleed, I can't see it. It's done very well. I guess you can say that there's a tiny amount of bleed right here on the silver, but it's very minuscule. They did a fantastic job sculpting this Batman. Even on the back, you can see they spared no expense. He still has his harness attached to him, which I think that's a really good detail. We do have his parachute pack right here, as well as some grenades right there. His utility belt looks really nice. A little bit surprised that he doesn't have your traditional spikes coming out of his gauntlet. What they look like is that they appear to just be straps that give the illusion of that. I want to say that the only reuse he shares with the original Hush Batman are the hands, because he comes with the exact same hands that we saw with that Hush Batman. And it's not a bad thing. They use the same colors, so it works for this figure. Again, his flight suit has really good texturing to it. As you can see, every bit of this figure is textured, which I really do like. His utility belt is well painted. I do like that buckle right here. It's a really thick buckle, as it would be, because it connects the harness. Really good. Even here on his legs, the harness is done very well. Even the silver paint on it is done exceptionally well. It looks fantastic. If Hasbro and McFarlane learned to do this with their straps, they would be much better figures, but as you can see, a little bit of paint goes a long way. And even right here on his, not really his thigh, but above his knee, they painted the clasps and pieces to that, so it does bring out all that really awesome detail. He is wearing some knee pads. As you can see, they do have some detailing on them, which looks nice. His boots follow that same strap down motif that we saw with his gauntlets, where you can see he has a strap right here at the top, strap right here at the bottom, and then two straps here on the bottom of his boot, which do look nice. And he actually does have some tread work here. As you can see, they did include some treads here on Batman, which that looks really good. Overall, as far as details go, I'm very impressed by this figure. It was very easy that Mafex could have just reissued that original Hush Batman, just threw on a couple of appliances and repainted and called it a day, but no, they actually went all out and sculpted a brand new figure. So gotta give Mafex props on that. It does look very good. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Batman compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Stealth Jumper Batman posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Stealth Jumper Batman posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Stealth Jumper Batman posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And for one final comparison, here we do have Stealth Jumper Batman posed next to the original Mafex Hush Batman. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Batman's articulation. Now, like I did state, he has virtually no head articulation, which is a little bit unfortunate because he can't really look up and he can't really look down too well. It can get some movement, but those tubes are very rigid, and you can see even head tilt is a little bit limited, and I really don't want to force this because I don't want to break it off. It is a little bit of a pain dealing with that. He also does have neck movement, but again, very restricted because of the tubes right here. So I'm going to just say he has no neck movement. Even though he has that joint, it's practically useless. He does have a ball joint here in the shoulder, which it is a little bit loose, but it's not like it's flopping around everywhere. It just has a little, very little resistance to moving around, but it's going to hold up its own weight. As you can see, there's no issue with it falling or flopping over, so I do like that. He does have that butterfly joint that we've seen with Mafex, where it appears to be a ball joint into a ball socket, and that connects into another ball joint, giving him some really nice forward and back movement. And you can also pivot the shoulder up and down. Shoulder does swing out about that far, does go all the way around, and this is what I'm talking about. It is a little bit loose. You can see I can swing it with no resistance, but it holds its shape, so I guess we gotta count the wins where we can, right? He does have a bicep swivel, which works really nice, a double jointed elbow going to about right there, a ball hinge here at the wrist going up and down, and we can pivot that to have in and out movement. He does have a torso joint, but as you would expect, it is a little bit hindered by this parachute pack right here, and it's also hindered by these little cartridges right here. He really can't lean forward all too far before that butts up against itself, and then he can't really lean back because it does butt up against his parachute pack, which is a little bit unfortunate. Most of your movement is going to come from this second ball joint at his waist, so that does pivot forward to about right there, lean side to side, no problem. And I have had this issue where his torso always wants to lean off to one side. I have taken him apart, tried to recenter it, but it keeps going in this position. I don't know what the cause of it is. It might just be my figure. It could be a universal issue, but do keep that in mind. Legs are on drop-down hinges, so they do drop down. They kick forward to about right there. They go back to about there. Out to the side, only to about right there, which is a little bit disappointing, unfortunately. He does have a thigh swivel up high in the hip. We have a double band at the knee. No boot rotation, but we do have rotation here at his ankle. Then we do have a hinge which goes back and forward forward-facing pin for rocker ankle, and we can give him a true rocker ankle on that joint. And then finally, he does have a toe hinge. So overall, Stealth Jumper Batman has some pretty good articulation. Some of it works, some of it just doesn't, and some of it is absolutely useless, unfortunately. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Batman posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Stealth Jumper Batman pose for my final thoughts, and overall Medicom has done a really good job with this figure. Now, I can give credit where credit is due. The detailing on this Batman is fantastic. I love the sculpt work throughout his flight suit. It looks really nice. I love the line work. I do like the little attachments that he has on his harness. Those look really nice. I especially love the detail of the parachute pack on the back of this figure. It is a detail that you can easily miss if you weren't looking for it. Now, we do got to talk about the negatives of this figure, which is the very limited mobility of a lot of key joints. Mostly being the head joint, where we don't get too much movement, if any, just because of how rigid those tubes are. In a perfect world, they would have been made of rubber and made very flexible, but Mafex opted out not to include a very rubberized tube, so it does very, very heavily limit his head articulation, as well as all the kibble on his chest and back. That does hinder torso articulation. Now, that's not saying you can't get him in some decent poses. It just means you can't get him in super articulated poses. One thing I did forget to mention is his wireframe cape, where we do have 4 wires running down the front of the cape and a little bit on the back, and it does provide a really good silhouette when you have those wires posed. And as you can see, they are very sturdy wires as well, so I do like that little detail. Other than that, the Stealth Jumper Batman is a really good figure in his own right, but it's one of those figures that you really got to be a fan of Hush or this particular design of Batman to really enjoy, because most people prefer Batman that can actually articulate very well, and this Batman, though he articulates decently, cannot articulate as well as you would hope. Though he does come with a pretty decent batch of accessories. They're the exact same that we saw with the original Hush Batman, so if you did lose some accessories for that, you can use them for both of these. But overall, do I recommend Stealth Jumper Batman? Yes and no. If you're a fan of the Hush storyline and you want to complete the entire Mafex collection, do pick him up. But this is actually one Mafex figure that I'm perfectly okay with most people passing on. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but the detailing on it is worth a look at. So if you're curious about this figure, definitely at least look into it, because he's a solid, I would say a solid 7 out of 10. He would have been a higher rating if the articulation worked a little bit better, but overall, Batman here does look good. I did pick up mine from Hobbylink Japan, where he did come in stock, and 2 days later he arrived at my doorstep, which is amazing shipping by Hobbylink Japan. He did run me about $70, so he did come out to about $100 after shipping, but I did get him shipped with another item, so it kind of did come out to like $15 getting him shipped. I'm perfectly okay with that pricing, as how this Batman is going for about $104 on domestic sites like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. If you want to pick this Batman up, definitely do so, but be aware that you are looking at a figure that does have very limited articulation in key areas. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Mafex and my other DC videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified anytime I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.